Hello and welcome back to Rams Talk, introducing the show where we go through new players and we get someone that knows them very, very well. So joining me today to talk about Derby's new striker, Dwight Gayle, is a man who's seen him play many, many times. I don't even know what to introduce you as, Josh. A TikToker, a YouTuber. What are you? What are you?
Content creator. We'll just put all of them in one bracket.
We'll go with that. That sounds good. How are you, mate? You're right.
I'm all right, mate. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm very, very good, thank you.
Good man.
Much happier now Derby actually have a striker, which we've desperately needed. So, Josh, I've just got to ask you, obviously, Dwight Gayle spent, 5 or 6 years at Newcastle, was sort of in and out of the team. I just want to know, from your perspective, overall, what did you make of him as a player and how do you think he performed and was perceived?
Well, Dwight Gayle, of course, we did sign him in the 2016-17 season where we got relegated to the Championship. I think it's fair to say you don't need to take long to look at his statistic. He was absolutely unbelievable in the Championship. The Premier League, it was pretty much a different ball game, though. Didn't perform as well. He wasn't terrible. Still got a few goals under his sort of radar, but the Championship, he absolutely mastered. I believe it was something 23 goals in 32 games.
Yeah.
That was the one. He was really, really good. And the thing was, on the right-hand side and the left-hand side, we didn't have pretty great wingers. They weren't very advanced. But to be fair, for not the tallest striker whatsoever, he actually was really, really good at heading. Used his body very well. Overall, very good striker in the Championship.
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad you said that about heading, because if Derby do anything, it's put crosses into the box. So that's very good to hear. But I mean, you mentioned there you signed him from Palace in the summer of 2016. He'd had a couple of decent years at Crystal Palace. Obviously, he scored that goal against Liverpool, or 2 goals against Liverpool, which ended up making them drop off the top of the league, and ended up, I guess they bottled it, didn't they?
Yeah.
With Gerrard's slip, and that sort of put him in the limelight. You signed him. Yeah, I mean, he had a really, really good season in the Championship. Talk me through his performances.
Do you know what it was? I don't want to say he was sort of a lone striker, because as a sort of club predicament, that was because we had the likes of Jose Perez there, we had Mitrovic there. So there was a lot of competition, and he still managed to score 23 goals in that season. And he was a very, very good striker for us. Finishing was unbelievable. Of course, took penalties at the time as well. Matt Ritchie was taking penalties as well. Honestly, there wasn't much that he couldn't do. I swear I seen him get on a few free kicks as well. He definitely wasn't a main free kick taker. But honestly, he is a very good, all-round, pretty decent player. Maybe a passing is his sort of downfall. But look, he's a striker. He's not meant to be like a sort of Pirlo, is he?
I can say we've had James Collins for the last year, so I don't think
we're
not expecting a lot, mate. Oh, don't say it. He's just done he's just had a knee ligament injury.
No, don't tell us. That's not the West Ham one, is it?
No, that's the other James Collins.
Right.
The centre half. No.
He might have retired a while ago now, actually.
I think he has. I think they're probably similar on the ball, to be honest. But this James Collins is better at putting it in the net. But I've got to ask you, because one of the things that was talked about by Stoke fans, and this is one of the reasons why I really wanted you, Josh, because Stoke haven't really seen the best of him. I mean, he scored, 3 goals in 2 years, which is a really poor return. But I've been having a look, and a lot of the time they've played him in midfield. They've played him out wide. I mean, half his appearances have come in the centre of midfield. What's his best role, and why is it not central midfield?
I don't know what's going on at Stoke, but I mean, it's not a centre midfielder straight off the bat. To be fair, a fair few times, I don't know if he ever played on the right, but he certainly played on the left wing for us. But of course, I mean, striker is definitely his main position, 110%. He definitely did play a fair few positions for us. So, I mean, left wing, I think that definitely clicks something in the back of my head. Right wing, can't really remember, but certainly did not play as a centre midfielder.
I can imagine. Yeah. I can really imagine. And I asked you this beforehand, Josh. You've done your homework, and I want you to tell me,
right in front of us right now.
What was his best moment in a Newcastle shirt?
Oh, right. There is a fair few, because, of course, in that season, he scored 23 goals. I mean, there's not many strikers nowadays that score that many goals for us. Fingers crossed in the near future. But I've got it right in front of me right now. Oh, my God, what a game this was. So we, of course, in the Championship season, we're playing Norwich City at St James's Park. Norwich were going for the title with us. I think it was like us, Brighton and Hove Albion, and Norwich. And it was absolutely unbelievable. Don't worry, I'm going to speak about it right now. So we beat Norwich City 4-3. Bearing in mind, I think we were 3-2 down in this game. And Dwight Gayle he scored a hat-trick in this game, but it was an absolute dramatic fashion. He scored, Johan Gudfrand scored in the 90 plus 5th minute and make it 3-3.
Player.
What a player. And so in the 90 plus 5th minute, it was 3-3. Dwight Gayle finishes off his hat-trick in the 96th minute of added time to win the game against a title contender in the championship. Oh, that was genuinely unbelievable.
No, I can imagine. So would you say he's a player for the big games?
I mean, to be fair, that was... How long ago was that? It was like 8 years ago now. But
you don't lose it, Josh. You don't lose it.
But to be fair, I can't remember an occasion where he's really like went into hiding. He's got that sort of, I don't know if you know what I mean, but he's got that sort of Ivan Toney attitude, like no one's bigger than me. I can go into this and I can absolutely boss it, no matter what, no matter if I'm not the tallest, the strongest. He puts his full graft into it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Derby need. I mean, to give you a bit of context, we've got 3 or 4 games coming up against teams that are in and around us. I mean, we're second at the minute. We've got to play Barnsley at the weekend, which is a huge game. They're only 3 points behind us, down in 3rd or 4th. We've got to play Bolton at home later on, who are in and around us as well. So it's going to be a really, really tough period for Derby, and we'll need players like Dwight Gayle to come in and make an instant impact. So I do hope you're right. And I really hope he can deliver on that. And I've got to ask you as well about him as a person, as a bloke, because, you know, you see some players, I mean, you mentioned Ivan Toney there, ironically, you know, you see them on the pitch, you're like, what a player, and you see him off the pitch, you're like, Christ.
Yeah.
How does he come across off the pitch?
Well, to be honest, I think, funnily enough, I met him once, and it was in Costa. that was now probably about 4 years ago. And just speaking of that experience in himself, really well sounded lad. He was with his girlfriend as well, and I know this is a bit off topic, but like when he could act a bit arrogant there, you know what I mean? Like, nah, don't want the camera on my face. More than happy to speak to us. Fair few people did ask him for a photo as well, but outside sort of personal aura that he had outside of the ground as well, he just looked like a general lad. He looked pretty decent, not arrogant whatsoever, not sort of, I don't know what the word is, not sort of disrespectful. He just genuinely looked like a really nice bloke. So, I mean, that's exactly what you want to have in your club, isn't it? It's not like you don't want anyone with a bad attitude or anything like that.
Well, absolutely. And one of Paul Warren's favourite things to say is he wants a certain type of player to create a certain type of culture. So, yeah, let's hope you're right and he can continue that at Derby. And one of the things you have to talk about, midway through his Newcastle spell, was his loan spell at West Brom.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't feature massively in 2018 for Newcastle. Ended up going out on loan to West Brom for a year, scored 24 goals, sending them up. He's good at scoring goals in that sort of area.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, as a Newcastle fan, you won't have been watching every game, but you'd have been sort of keeping an eye on him a little bit as he was there. I mean, did it sort of surprise you that after a year where he wasn't so good in front of goal, that he dropped a division and suddenly was clinical again?
To be fair, I think that's a sort of with another ex-player like I mentioned before as well, Mitrovic, when he played for Newcastle in the Prem, couldn't really do it. Went down with Fulham, and did he break the goal-scoring record?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But to be fair with Dwight Gayle, of course you keep a bit of eye on him because he is your player going out on loan and he was monumental the season before. But in that deal, we got a sort of opposite in that swap loan deal. We got Salomon Rondon, who was unbelievable for us apart from Callum Wilson. He's probably the best number 9 I've seen for the club in my lifetime. Of course, I mean, I haven't seen the best of number 9s, but Salomon Rondon was unbelievable. In the air, he was fantastic. His physicality was second to none. I don't know how he went so bad at Evan, but under Rafa Benitez, he was very, very good. So that kind of took the limelight off Dwight Gayle. But I mean, his goal speaks for itself, doesn't? So the Championship, with all due respect to Dwight Gayle himself, the Premier League maybe isn't his level. For what reason that is, we don't know. The pace, the physicality. But I mean, this is the first time in his career he's dropped to League One, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. He's 34 years old now, but fingers crossed he can crack it there.
I've just realised I just lied then. He has played in League 1 or League 2 for Peterborough before, where he scored 13 and 29, but that was 12 years ago.
12 years, so he would have been 22?
Yeah, young lad. He would have been a young lad.
22-year-old.
No, it's not bad at all, is it? It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, yeah, you talked about lack of number 9s there. I mean, you had Chris Woods, so I don't know what you're all about.
Jesus Christ. Emmanuel Riviere, Shola Amiobi.
Oh, Shola, you can't disrespect Shola. Oh, one of my best mates is a Newcastle fan. He loves Shola.
Most people do, just for the sort of like taking the mick aspect.
I just, you mentioned Salomon Rondon there. It's a bit of a tangent. I've got a weird story. I played for Burton Albion's community trust team. And we played a game, and they gave us free tickets to a friendly, and we ended up pitch side. And I ended up stood there with my brother, and walked past was Nasser Chadli and Solomon Rondon. I ended up speaking to Chadley and Rondon. It's such a weird day.
Was that at West Brom?
Into my head. Yeah, it's at West Brom. Yeah.
Actually, funnily enough, I know this sounds weird, but the only time I've met Rondon was in Costa, at the same Costa.
Are you stalking the players in Costa?
No, I normally go to Costa with me dad, so.
No, it sounds good. That sounds good. But we've spoken about a lot of good things in Gale's game, but you know, as with every player, and especially a player that's 34, dropping down to League One, they're going to have aspects of their game that maybe aren't as refined as other players. What aspects of his game do you think Derby might see as a little bit of a weakness?
Well, I mean, looking from his statistics without even watching him play, obviously his goals has went down a lot. What actually is a factor of that? I'm not an actual expert in all, but I think his physicality is wearing him down. But don't get us wrong, he has definitely still got that attitude. Like, I'm going into this, I'm trying absolutely everything. He just gets his head down and starts running. He's an absolute grafter. But he's not exactly ancient, but 34 years old playing football, I think it is just wearing down on him a little bit. But look, League One, it's a new step for him, of course. I mean, like we said, he did play there when he's 22-year-old. But I think his goal scoring's sort of went down a little bit, like we just said. But physicality, I think, is another factor of his downfall recently.
Yeah, and like I say, he's not a big lad, is he? He's not a big lad.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
But he's got Mendes lying next to him, who's about 6 feet tall and 6 feet wide as well. So if anyone will give him a hand, it'll be him, I'm sure. I mean, I've got to ask you, Josh, as well.
Yeah.
He signed for Derby. He signed a short-term deal. He'll be here till the end of the season. Could potentially get an extension if he plays well. So I just want to ask you, do you think that Dwight Gayle will succeed at Derby County?
First of all, I hope he does. I mean, I hope any ex-player, apart from the likes of Jack Colback, does very good for does very good for the former teams. You know, he served us absolutely brilliantly. The Premier League wasn't just his step, but look, done fantastic for Newcastle. I hope he can do well. But yet again, the League One, it is a step down from Premier League to Championship to League One, with all due respect to Derby. I don't want you to get on my wrong side.
Yeah, come on then.
But no, I think he will, and I'll definitely be watching his first game. Who is he?
It'll be Barnsley. Barnsley this weekend.
He's eligible for that, is he?
Yeah.
Well, I'll certainly be watching it then.
No, Warney won't bring him on. That's the sort. That's what we do. That's what we do. And we've got a question from DB. Oh, I can't even read that. I think my eyes are going. DB.
I knew someone was going to ask that. You know. Do you know what?
Yeah, I was going to say. Sorry for the listeners. What chance did you have at Newcastle for Dwight Gayle?
I always get put on the spot asking to get Singh, you know, every time. This is actually weird, you know. Do you know when you first messages, I had a funny feeling someone was going to ask this, right? So I'm just trying to re-jog it in my
If there's any profanity, please don't say it.
No, it's not. It's not.
Get age restricted.
No. It's tell all the boys you know. Dwight Gayle will always score goals. Every chance he gets, he puts a ball in the net. Dwight Gayle will always score goals.
That is quality. I'm a fan. You're the first person to sing on this podcast, by the way. So
it's an honor. It's an honor.
I'm very, very grateful. Very, very grateful. Well, right, Josh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for giving up your time at such short notice to come and talk about a player that left you a few years ago. It does genuinely mean a lot. If people wanted to find you and the stuff you do, where can they find you?
They can find us TikTok, Facebook, probably if you're over 80-year-old. Instagram, YouTube. I'm joking, by the way.
That's off our audience, Josh. You can't do that.
Just on any social media, search up Geordie Josh and you'll find us there.
Very, very good. Right. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like, subscribe. Go look at Josh's stuff. I'll leave a link in the description. I need to put it in after this, so make sure I don't forget.
I have a mate who's a Derby County fan. I said,
"Oh yeah,
look, black and white brothers hate red and white. It's a match made in heaven."
It certainly is. It certainly is. So if you didn't like it already or rate us 5 stars, that's your call to do it. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. And Josh, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem, mate. If whatever other player that goes either way, I'll be more than happy to come on if that does happen at some time.
Top man, in 2 years' time when we play you, we'll get you on.
Oh yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening. See you soon.
See you there, everyone.